Welcome back everybody, Jared here with another video once again for you. And if you realize by now, I finally got a haircut because Singapore finally loosened the circuit breaker laws, and yes, we finally got McDonald's back. So yes, recently you may have realized that I'm posting more about camera releases and announcements and rumored specs and what I hope for cameras, because now is the season where Canon releases some crazy camera and everyone else is trying to catch up, and we are all guessing what's going on, and Sony Alpha Rumors is publishing a bunch of shit. So today I have something rather special for you guys. Rather than record another episode or video on what camera will come out next, the EOS R6, the A7S III or A7 IV, and give you a list of specs that at this point nobody really cares about anymore. This video marks the beginning of my journey to bring you content that leans towards the tutorial side and life as a content creator. So long before this pandemic and what we call in Singapore circuit breaker came about, and even during this period of time, many people have been asking me questions like, oh, where do I start? What gear do I buy? Oh, I have this budget. What should I do with this money? And curious about my life as a photographer and a videographer. And some of them even want to pursue this career. So today I'll be covering my top 5 tips for getting into photography. And for those of you videographers out there, you are not forgotten as well. I'll be releasing another video on my top 5 tips for getting into videography soon. So do leave a like, as it really encourages me to continue doing this for you guys. And subscribe to stay tuned for more. And let's get into it. Are you ready? Let's go! So those questions you heard earlier are from people who probably see photographers in action but don't really have experience on their own and want to get into this line and industry. So for the benefit of these people who don't own their own cameras yet, or are in the midst of finding what to do and what genre of photography to go into, I will be starting from ground zero, way before like you even get your first camera or something. So before you start going out to shoot, thinking of what cameras to own and what lenses to buy, my very first advice is to think carefully. Think of what genre of photography you want to start out with, because this can really influence the gear you buy later on and what you actually need for what you want to do. So these genres can range from weddings, events, studio work, portraits, product shots, sports, wildlife, etc, etc. The list goes on and on. So no matter how much knowledge you want to have and you want to learn on these many different genres of photography, one will eventually settle down with 1, 2 or 3 specific genres they would like to excel and major in more than others. So for example, I can have the knowledge of doing studio work, portraits, product photography, whatsoever, but personally I prefer weddings, events, concerts, for example, because I really enjoy the energy during those events, the people I meet, and the candid moments I get to capture. So next is to think about how you want to treat photography, be it a career or a hobby, because there is a very big difference between treating something as a career, as a passion, or as a hobby. Because like all hobbies are, spending too much time and effort into it will eventually lead you to losing interest in it, and you don't want that to happen, because photography is a very expensive thing to take up, be it a hobby or career. All your cameras and lenses are going to cost a lot. and that's why you should really know what you want to do, and whether you want to do this full time, you have the passion to do this, you have the firing passion to do this full time before you even invest into it. So after all that thinking, soul searching on what you want to do and will you do this full time, do you have the passion for it, next we talk about gear. And after all that thinking, that will influence you what gear you should buy and where you should put your money in. For example, if I want to do macro photography and product shots, studio work for example, I don't need the fastest camera on the planet. I don't need an A92 that will do 20 frames per second. I don't need super long telephoto lenses, for example. So knowing what kind of photography you want to get into and how much time you're going to spend on it will then influence you on what kind of gear you should be going for, and then you work around your budget to see what you can get. So you know what you want to do, you have your gear. Next is anyone's guess, that is to go out and start shooting and get to know your gear. So if you want to treat photography as a hobby, you generally have the free will to shoot anything and everything you want to shoot. It can be architecture, landscapes, portraits, and occasionally some wildlife or sports that you can do with whatever you own. But if it's for career, as much as I agree that shooting different things will give you different sorts of exposure and it will be beneficial in the sense that you know what to do in different situations, I suggest that you spend and invest your time and effort into learning the specific genre you would like to excel and major in over the rest, as it will be the type of jobs you want your client to hire you for. Personally, for me, trying out different types of photography from time to time is okay, as I can enjoy the uncontrolled environment that I'm in and it adds to my knowledge. And like anyone else in the world, if you continuously do something that you don't enjoy and spend so much time and effort into it, you'll slowly lose your interest, which isn't what I want, and that's why I continue pushing my efforts in to that specific few genres that I actually enjoy. Photography, it may not make you millions as quickly as, for example, an insurance agent or a property agent or a doctor or a scientist, but personally I feel that this is something that is really passion driven for what you enjoy doing, and to make the most out of it, money will come later. And my next part of this advice is to also know your gear, because especially for those of you that want to take photography as a career, you cannot be struggling to find a setting during your shoots, as one, you might miss the moment, or secondly, people are waiting for you, and or the animal will fly away at any moment. So you really have to know your gear inside out and what modes suits you and the situation the most. So like I've told many people before, photography, videography, or actually anything in life, it's never about money first. This is especially for those who will eventually treat photography as a career, because honestly, don't expect to be paid handsomely on your first time shooting someone's wedding. Most clients out there hire you because they like your portfolio. And where do you get one? Start asking around friends, family members, whether you can cover their weddings, their sports tournaments, their annual company dinner, and explain to them it's a win-win situation, because you're giving them free photos, but at the same time you're getting a portfolio. So even if they have already hired a photographer, no harm for some extra pictures, right? For example, if you want to get into portraiture, any of your family and friends would do, because anyone will fancy a new profile picture, right? But of course, if you're going down the macro or wildlife road, for example, you can get a small product and start shooting macro shots with it, or go to a park or a nature reserve, you can get macro shots of plants, bees, or get wildlife shots, for example birds, otters and whatnot. But the best source of learning I find till date is to actually engage and partner up with somebody who's already in the industry, be it your family members, colleagues or friends that are already doing this full-time, as they can provide more and better opportunities than you probably can source for yourself starting out. And at the same time, it shows you the sort of standard you have to hit, and it will help you better gauge where you want to be. And only after having a decent portfolio and people will be comfortable knowing that you can deliver and you know what you're doing, will people hire you for paid gigs. And my next and final tip for today is for both groups of people, whether you want to treat photography as a career or as a hobby, and that is to publish your work. After you get your shots, it is no point just leaving it in your camera, SD card or hard disk, because then only you can view them, and that's not the point. The point is to get your work out there and show people what you can do and show people your expression of life. So getting your shots is one thing. Next is to learn how to edit them. At the start, you may not have the budget for an Adobe account, but for example, Adobe Lightroom on your iPad or on your phone is completely free. So you can, for example, wireless transfer your photos from your camera to your iPad or your phone, and you can straight away jump into editing. Then after editing all these pictures, post it somewhere, be it Facebook, Instagram, or come up with a website that is meant to be your portfolio to show to clients. And for those who are interested in building a career out of this, really explore the different types of services that people need and want, and then base your services around them, and probably 1-2 more that is special to you only, and then come up with packages and deals you want to offer to your clients to make them feel special and that they are getting some discounts. And next is to come up with a reasonable price that speaks the value of your works. For example, if you're starting out, you can't be jumping straight into charging people $100 per hour. It doesn't work that way. You slowly build up to it. And that's it for my top 5 tips for those who are interested into getting into photography. Hope you've picked up a thing or two, and stay tuned as I'll be releasing more videos subsequently on, for example, what kind of gear you should get for your budget, what kind of gear in general you should get for your specific type of photography, and my continuation to this episode, that is my top 5 tips for getting into videography. And once again, leave a like, subscribe and comment down below if you think I've missed out something, or if you have any topics you would like me to cover in a future video, and see you soon.